See shadow, it's all I know. Tell me now, where did you go? I lost the light, looking at your eyes. I come you down, let it shine. I see shadow, it's all I know. Tell me now, where did you go? You go.
Hello, Scorpio. Princess India here. Welcome to your June 2019 reading. It's actually for the 1st through the 15th, but anywho, I hope you've been well. And if you're new to my channel, I'm Princess India. If you're family, welcome back, my friend. But we are going to go ahead and jump right into your cards. We're going to ask Spirit to give us clear and direct guidance for, Scorpio. Good Lord, I almost forgot that fast. For my Scorpios for June 1st through 15th, please, Spirit, anything they need to know, anything of utmost importance, I ask that come to the forefront in this here reading. Please, Spirit, give you the ability to interpret these messages in a clear and concise manner and what's not or whatever. But as always, I know you are good for it, Spirit, so I'm thanking you in advance. So let's go ahead and jump in to the energy between you and your person of interest. In the event that you are cross-watching for Scorpio, okay. Oh, come on. If this card come on one more time, we have the Goddess and the Moon in reverse with the energy between you and your person of interest. And bottom of the deck, we have the first chakra. Interesting. So we got old school wounds coming to the surface, need to be healed, and currently that's blocking your intuition. It's old school fears. So let's see, something past tense that you went through that altered the way that you approach situations, created like a self-protective defense kind of thing going on. So whenever you find yourself in similar situations, you respond not in the present moment or to the present people. You instantly time travel to the past and you respond as who you were then to this situation. You may be very spiritual, you may even have gifts, and you may be very attuned. You're a Scorpio, really not surprised here. But recently you've been noticing that your intuition has been off, or you haven't been hearing from Spirit as clearly as you usually do. You find yourself more confused than anything, right? And if you're anything like me, being my opposite sign, Scorpio, I don't know how to live in the 3D world without my intuition. I will be lost as hell. You understand me? I would not know up from down, left from right. I'd just be a lost individual in a corner crying somewhere. You understand? But anyway, so I feel like that's the situation that you guys are kind of in right now. You can't figure out what it is. You may be trying, your old methods, self-care, take a bath, light a candle, burn some sage, you know what I'm saying? Go running, take a nap. None of that stuff is working. But the thing is Spirit is doing that intentionally because the purpose of that is because this wound needs to be healed, right? This has been coming up a lot. It's one of those good old Chiron type of things, you know what I'm saying? So you would want to look at where Chiron is at in your chart and what house it's in, and that would be able to let you know what wound it is that you're actually healing here, right? But it's usually like, I call it what Paul calls it in the Bible, the thorn in your side. It's like that perceived to be unhealable wound, but the transits that we have going on right now is giving people an opportunity until 2027 to heal it. So you got time, babe. You know what I'm saying? You got time. No rush. But I feel like that's the reason why your intuition is kind of hit or miss, because I think it's specifically in situations that are too closely related to this wound where you're having trouble discerning whether it's your intuition or it's your own personal judgment in that situation. But that keeps coming up because that's something that it's time for it to be healed, right? So what I was saying before that message came out was, if you're a cross watcher, you may resonate more on the side for the Scorpios that I'm reading for, and the Scorpio you're cross watching for may resonate more on the side of Scorpio's person of interest. But Get in where you fit in, babe. You know what I'm saying? Whoa. Really? Is this what we're doing? This is what we're doing right now? Okay. That's what's hot in the streets. All right. Cute. First card that we have, if you can see it, is the Thinking Woman in reverse. We have the Storm Warning in the reverse. And then we have the Healer of the Ages. So, main thing that I'm seeing is here, with the Thinking Woman in reverse, it's a lack of utilizing your wisdom in a situation, but then at the same time, this could be somebody outside of you. Oh. Interesting. I think somebody might have given you bad advice. In like your recent past. It's like somebody gave you, I don't know if you went to someone for like trying to get an opinion on something, but I feel like the person you asked didn't know what the hell they was talking about. No wonder we have the indecision card. Confused the shit out you. It was lost as hell. I don't feel like they knew what they were talking about. I don't know who that, I don't know, maybe it's, I don't know, it could be a parent, I don't know. Whatever the case may be, something like, because of this whole block in your intuition, it's like you were trying to make a decision about something, but you really didn't know what to do, so you went to someone outside of yourself that typically one would assume is a wise, knowledgeable person. But the vibe I'm getting is they really don't know shit. Like, that's literally how I feel. Like, they don't know shit. Like, they don't know, like, themselves from a can of paint. Like, they don't know shit from sugar. It's like a person who's a know-it-all, but you don't know shit, though. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like presenting themselves like they know buku stuff, but it's like they don't know their asshole from a hole in the ground. Like, that's literally how I feel. I don't know how someone could get away with that, because I just feel like when a person talks, if you listen, it's kind of like, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Maybe they're just convinced of that. I don't know. But whatever the case may be, you guys averted a crisis. But it's that dog, that's like divine intervention on some stuff. It's like this person told you the absolute wrong thing to do, but it's like that worked. Is the vibe that I'm getting. It's like and you know what it might be? That's what it is. This person gave you the wrong advice and it confused the shit out of you, right? But it's more or less because you were confused of which route to go. It's kind of like you not making a decision. What they told you was in direct opposition to what you were thinking maybe you should do. So it's like they kind of gave you confirmation on the opposing path to take to what you were initially thinking. But I feel like it's a level of trust you have for this person, so more or less feeling like they would still steer you wrong. But they really don't know what the hell they're talking about, or they're not qualified to give you advice in this particular area. And that's why I say, like, know-it-all. It's like it's somebody who, like, they legit don't know what they're talking about, but they're presenting as if they do. You know what I'm saying? But it's a level of trust or respect that you have for this person, and that's why you went to them. You feel what I'm saying? But it's like what they told you confused you more than you were already confused, but that worked in your favor, because whatever it is you were making a decision about, it's almost like the crisis was averted. So it's almost them giving you the bad advice was the best thing that could happen, because in your confusion and in your inaction, it's almost like you dodged a bullet on some stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because it almost seems like one of those situations where you would have been screwed either way. Like, you would have been screwed either way. No matter what decision it is you made, you would have been, like, there was no right answer to that question. You know what I'm saying? But it's like in your inaction, it's almost like the storm came while you were trying to figure your life out. And when you finally did make a decision, there wasn't a need for it because everything had already blew over already, if that makes sense. And then we have the 5th chakra. So it's a need to speak your truth. But see, the thing is that, I don't know, man, where this whole thing, this is like a theme I'm feeling in these readings this month. It's almost like everybody's getting I don't want to say a gift you don't deserve. You know, to be honest, and that's funny because the number 5 represents this. If we're speaking in the sense of like biblical meanings of numbers, the number 5, your 5th chakra, is the number of grace, right? And grace, of course, is, you know, not having to pay the penalty of consequences, and is more or less like, so if you think about it within, and then the healer of the ages, this is my little Jesus card. This card totally reminds me of Jesus. But I think it's funny that this is right diagonal from the throat chakra card, and that being the 5th chakra, and like I said, 5 being grace. So it's almost like you being spared. You know what I'm saying? And that this isn't just with you guys reading. This is a theme I'm picking up on all the readings I've done up to this point. It's almost like whatever this wound is that needs to be healed, every time prior to this, and for a lot of people, it's kind of like a self-sabotatory kind of energy. Every time prior to this particular wound is the thing that has kept you from getting what it is that you want, deserve, or desire. But it's almost like there's this energy that's coming in that's like a penance almost. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, and I'm sorry I'm using all of this terminology. It's literally, if you think about like the rapture, like if you think about the judgment card, because the judgment card is about the biblical story and Revelation's about the rapture. So it's pretty much before everything goes to hell in a handbasket. It's like all of the people who died in Christ are, you know, they disappear, you know, like the Left Behind movies and all that stuff. So it's like all of the people who are in alignment disappear so they don't have to face the tribulation. But it's so ironic. This is the same theme that I feel is coming up through all the readings. It's like this particular wound, this thorn in your side, the thing that has kept you back, it's almost like by grace, you end up having to not face the consequences and go around the mulberry bush again. So it's like, because this is the same thing that happened with Capricorn. So it's like you're getting pulled out of the situation. The shit show happens, right? And you're somehow over here doing stuff. And then you go back to the situation and see that everything is completely obliterated. But it's more or less, I don't even know what you would call that. It's kind of like a contingency plan or something. I don't know. It's like, hey, I rescued you from making the same mistake that you always made, but I saved it from you this time so you can see that this is something that needs to heal. And because you're, okay, that must be why. Thank you, Spirit. Because this is giving you an opportunity where it's hard to learn lessons when you're in a subjective relation to the chaos, right? Because you instantly go into self-victimization mode. How could this happen to me? This is so unfair. And it's like every time I try and you know what I'm saying? So you end up overlooking the lesson because from a myriad of different defense mechanisms, you're trying to patch up the shame, guilt, or whatever that you feel, or self-loathing because of this thing that has happened, to where you're never able to get to a place of clarity to see what contributions were made, what choices I made, or what choices I didn't make that ended me up, where I ended up in this situation in which this thing transpired or occurred. That's often what it is that's overlooked. It's like we fixate on the fact that, you know, a person cheated on us, right? And this is hypothetical, but we won't look at the fact that, you know, we didn't get to know this person before we got in a relationship with them. We didn't pay attention to the fact that they said, I've cheated on every single person that I've ever been with. You know what I'm saying? While we were dating them. But then we're like stunned and shocked of like, oh my gosh, how could they cheat on me? I did so much and people always take advantage of me. But we can't be sober-minded enough and honest enough with ourselves to be able to see what choices I made, what responsibility I can take, right? So it's almost like these situations are being orchestrated this way. So now you can be the objective observer of your life. So you can see the situation without being a part of it. And it's like for the first time, it's like you're going to look back and you're going to see how this wound has been replicating itself all throughout your life, your relationships, decisions that you've been making without you being directly emotionally involved, to where a grieving process will completely overshadow the lessons that could have been learned in it. That is why that is happening. Thank you, Spirit. You're welcome, Scorpio. So anywho, but the whole purpose of this is for you guys to ascend to a higher level of awareness, right? It's understanding the duality within life. You know what I'm saying? And everything is not always, evil people, good people, they're horrible, I'm good, and this and that. It's more or less being introduced to the middle road and understanding that life has so much more fluidity and that everything cannot be deduced down into a state of good and bad and them and us. You know what I'm saying? So it's more or less a more fluid perspective that's going to be birthed from this experience, right? And another thing is there's trouble with speaking your truth. And de facto kind of relying on other people's wisdom as opposed to your own, and not being able to discern that somebody really don't know shit. That's all because of there being like a that uneasy foundation based on that root chakra wound. And because it's almost like an insecurity to where you're not confident enough to speak your truth in certain situations. Oh, wow. The door to personal healing and happiness. And that's right under the healer of the ages. So this is freaking personal revolution right here. God damn it, son of a gun, Scorpio, I said. You know what I'm saying? This is like 12th ray ascension. You know what I'm saying? Ascending Jacob's ladder, if you will. Crossing the rainbow bridge, whatever you want to call it, God damn it. But it's literally you being able to be set free from bondage from this core wound that you have, right? So in the month of June, you guys are stepping into a higher level of awareness, and you're going to be doing some deep personal healing. And I mean, I feel like this is something that has affected your relations with people, and has made you very insecure and not trusting your own views or decision making up to this point. Now, for your person of interest, first card they have is the World card. Then they have the Angel of Love. So it's a new cycle that's starting for them. Them getting lessons on unconditional love, what that truly means in their life. Seeing in what ways they've been showing up half-hearted. Almost being schooled in a sense of what that really is. Oh, how freaking adorable. Yin and yang in this. Man, I just talked about the laws of duality. That's what that card is about. Is understanding the mask. Oh, man. Y'all going through some transformations in this bit. Then we have the Magician in the Mirror. Dog. Whew, this is deep. This is like a new cycle that's starting, a new vision that this person is getting, understanding what love truly means in the sense of the authenticity of what love really is. Not this, rom-com, I love you, superficial type of conditional, I love you contingent upon you fulfilling these particular needs for me type of love. But this person is having a revolution in the sense of understanding what the hell love really is. Like, we're talking about like agape love. We ain't talking about no eros around here. You know what I'm saying? But anywho, it's also with them learning the meaning of the masculine principle and the feminine. That was so weird. And I'm slightly creeped out by that. Okay? Literally, my phone's not out of memory or anything. I was recording and suddenly my screen goes black and it's like, it looked like it didn't literally look like somebody took their finger, But it's like, you know how it looks on your phone when you press the record button and it starts and stops? It looks like someone pressed onto the phone and it like stopped. And then it just went back to the regular screen. That's weird. Conspiracy. Okay, that looks really weird with this sun in my face like that. I don't know what that was about. But anyway, back to what I was saying. This person is learning a lesson on the divine masculine and feminine principle, right? Which is receptivity and action. So in other words, putting that into action, it's that middle road in life. It's being just as in tune with your masculine as you are with your feminine, right? And meaning that, our superficial understanding and all of what this actually means, in a sense. It's like your yin and yang principle, knowing when to act, knowing when not to act. So it's kind of staying in this in-between phase between these two extremes, which is the same thing I'm feeling for you as well. It's ascending to this middle road, but it's like the pathway through which this person is learning it is through that of love, right? So this kind of lets me know that the struggle that they've had for a very long time has been ego and fear and self-protection, which is yet another root chakra wound, right? Because that's the energy that's between the two of you. The next card that they have is the Magician in the Mirror. So this is in this new cycle, is them coming into the realization, very similar to what I described for my Scorpios, is that they are the author and the finishers of their own fate, right? The fact that everything that we're experiencing in our lives is a reflection of our inner state. It's never really about the other person per se. It's almost as if everyone in the world, myself included, are merely just actors in your play of which you are the star. We are only responding to you the way that your soul wills us to, so that you can come to the higher awareness of your truth, in so many words. Of course, that sounds extremely hella existential. You know what I'm saying? But once you come into the understanding of that, and you start to see in a higher sense of how it is that we're contributing to what's happening, because it's a lot less woo-woo than it sounds. Like, I could literally break it down to like maladaptive thought patterns of how it is that we're creating our own reality. It's the fact that a person could tell us something 1,000 times, but if my mind is already set on what I think they're saying, I don't really hear them. So if I've already made a decision that I think this person is evil and this person is trying to hurt me because they're jealous and whoop-de-whoop-de-woo, then every single thing that person says will always be put through that filter. So I'm never ever hearing anything positive that they're saying, because I've already made my mind up on who you are and what you're about and what you're here for. So we're really not having a conversation. It's just me having a monologue. You feel what I'm saying? So it's as simple as something like that. You know what I mean? Or perceiving something that's simply happening as a slight. You know what I'm saying? Like, your car breaks down. No, that doesn't mean that God hates you. It just means that you didn't get an oil change for the last 3, 4, 5 years. The car gonna goddamn break down. You know what I'm saying? So it's more or less understanding it from a less like woo-woo manifesting your reality type of thing to something as simple as your power of choice. You know what I'm saying? What we're living right now today in this present moment is merely the byproduct of every decision that we have made or have not made every point in our life up until this very moment. You feel what I'm saying? But anyway, moving right along. 2 more cards for them, please, Spirit. I love how these readings are going this month. This is giving me life. All right, we have the 2nd chakra in the reverse. So it's needing for them to listen to their gut. It's not a lot of them listening to their gut brain and following their instincts. And I think that's why it's difficult, because it's a lack of trust for self and confidence in one's decision making. And then we have action in reverse. And see, with them going into a Yan cycle, it's like that's overall what their lesson is. It's like, first and foremost, overall, it's like you have the power, you're the magician. It's you using your tools to your ability. Secondly, it's all about them understanding what, love as in the all God, what is that? What is conditional love? What is unconditional love? And them seeing their contributions to that, or how they weren't receptive to that for most of their life, based on, and I say for this person is a lot deeper, because we're talking about first chakra wounds, and then we're talking about the fact that they got a blacked dang, if they sacral was blacked, dog, that's stagnation on a whole nother level. Is that a Freudian slip? Jesus. Blocked. Their sacral chakra is blocked, and that's pretty much like your creation energy, your like your sexual energy, your sacred divine sexual energy, which is pretty much your life force energy, your creative force, in so many words. And it's them not being able to manifest things fruitfully, you know, because this being blocked, usually when I see a sacral that's blocked, it's because like a first chakra wound, it's something usually very deep that's interrelated with with trust and security with parental figures. So it usually would be someone who had a very unstable childhood, right? So it's more or less them operating more out of their masculine principle as opposed to their feminine principle. But the thing that blocks them from ever acting on things that feel right in their heart space is because of that lack of trust for self and the disbelief that they can actually have what it is that they want and desire, or a feeling as if they don't deserve it, right? So for this person, that's the thing that's blocking their intuition of them being able to see the truth about who they are. But this is their whole little personal revolution that they're going through in the month of June. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's all I got. So I'm going to throw the dice of resonance over there on Vimeo. We're going to look into how this person thinks and feels about you. But I'm not really shocked that this is coming out like this, because I really feel in all of these situations, I don't know, maybe should I name the readings that, because every single reading I've done up to this point, these are people who are like in soulmate relationships. I can be honest with you, because it's the fact that everything has taken a very spiritual tone, and it's all about, like, it's not about situational, like, this is what's going on in your life type of, they're dealing with this person and that person. It's like, it's literally really deep personal evolution type of stuff. So I don't know if I should just title these as soulmate readings, because it's a mirroring that I'm seeing in both people. It's like they're dealing with the same wound, but it manifested in different ways, and it's being dealt with in different ways. So I don't know. We'll see. But the thing that I'm going to look at on Vimeo in the Lurkers Lounge is looking at where they are with this, because granted, this is their process. This is what they're going through in their life with their own personal growth. But we're going to look in over their relation to you. It's like in the midst of all of these changes and these new awareness that they're coming into, how that affects how they're seeing you presently. You feel what I'm saying? So we're going to go ahead and toss out the dice of resonance. If you want to formulate a yes or no question, you can go ahead and do that now, my sweet precious. You know what I'm saying, and whatnot, or whatever. All right, we have Pisces, we have Leo. That's interesting. We have Venus or female, we have the X, and we have yes in a few months. So Pisces, Leo, so that could be in their Venus, or this is a female, the X, and the yes in a few months. And let me pick you guys one of these good old animal oracles, you know what I'm saying? It's interesting. I don't know. Any day now. Well, we got two cards that came out. Panda. Create a sacred space for yourself in your home, indoor workplace, and Gorilla. Take the time to listen compassionately to those you love, especially your family members. Wow. So this more or less is saying to me self-care and family connections. It's more or less like a solo and a communal standpoint. And I feel like this is where you guys are going to gauge further knowledge, if that makes sense. It's like if you create your sacred space in your home or your office or wherever you feel comfortable, it's more or less looking at it. I'm seeing it symbolic of the time that you spend with spirit, right? So any unanswered questions in reference to yourself or this relationship, they'll be found in your quiet time with spirit, right? As well as in your family connections. I need to post, I think I might post that on my website. I'll keep y'all posted. Because one thing that I do with all of my clients is I have them do a genogram, which is pretty much like a blueprint of your family, right? And on it, it kind of tells you how, you know, like if your parents were divorced, if anyone had any addictions, and you usually do it for your mom and dad, your mom's mom and dad, and your dad's mom and dad, and like your siblings, to see if you pick up on any patterns in your family. And now that I say that, I literally think I'm going to post that now. Let me write that down. Because I think that'll help. It's like being able to see patterns that are showing up in your family of origin. It gives you kind of a new insight on what natural inclinations that you have towards things, or maybe fears that you have in reference to partnerships or, you know, movement forward in your life, what have you. Literally anything. But I'll go ahead and post that. And, I'll link it below. But anyway, I love your freaking face. That has been your reading. If you want to follow me over to Vimeo, please do. If not, I love your freaking face, and I will see you guys sooner than later. Deuces.
Energy, about to get in and fuck up the industry.